Shalom, Laha Alahayim, peace to the gods, Nawathan, Kal, Halalimla, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha HaKodash, giving all praises to Yahweh, in the name Yahweh Shai, in the name of the Holy Spirit, double honors unto the elder apostles, the elder bishops, and the heads and elders of all that came to Great Millstone GMS who do well. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the tabernacle of David, those predestined spirits of election scattered abroad. This is your brother Tazapania of the Great Millstone, Washington, D.C. camp, out of one Ratazah, Lord willing. This digital epistle is edifying to the elect. So this is another crypto channel, Black Swan Capitalist. Um, and he's going into about these stable coins and how it's going to trigger a supply shock for the XRP. What's her name? Crypto, which I believe through the spirit, and I could be wrong, but based on the studying and the research, it seems very well like the Ripple technology and its native cryptocurrency XRP is going to be the bridge currency that is connected with all CBDCs, stable coins, which is was the first coin to go to the government to get regulated under the new computer communication system, which is the new Swift standardization system, ISO 222, which is pretty much live right now. All right. But the panel, the host, the guest is going to talk about how this new digital financial system is inevitable because you got a lot of people out here, you know what I'm saying, trying to think like as if there's something that you can do to stop it, because you trying to stop this is trying to stop prophecy. Because at the end of the day, the mark of the beast has to be pushed. Okay. So, and these people is not in the truth or anything like that, because it's pretty much secular people or your Bible Belt Edomite Christians that's trying to think of a way of, which is weird, right? They would call themselves a Christian and they talking about the kingdom of heaven, but yet they don't want the things to happen, the signs, the tokens to happen in order for their false understanding of the kingdom of heaven to come down. So this is how you know that they don't know the scriptures. This thing is not for them. But without further ado, we're gonna get straight into it. Watch what they say here, and then we're gonna get some precepts, of course. That's what we come here for. Lord willing, again, it's edifying. I'm straight to the point, okay? And then filter it through the scriptures. So without further ado.
So it appears like progress to everybody else, but when you start to look deeper into it, it runs much deeper because the adoption of these coins, these stable coins, I'm sorry, what it's essentially going to do is channel foreign capital directly into the US debt market. And in effect, start to look at this, the world is trying to right now finance $35 trillion in debt. Basically gives power to Washington to externalize the borrowing that they're doing while trying to retain full control over their currency. And the sad thing is that over in due time, what people don't realize, they keep embracing this as innovation, right? But ultimately, if they can consolidate the debt and then devalue the dollar, and when that devaluation happens, I mean, who really holds the bag here, right? The losses are going to fall entirely on the stablecoin holders, and that's the problem. So it's really disguised as a method for really offloading risk onto the whole world.
So what he kind of just explained, and I know he talks a little technical, so I'm gonna try to break it down, spiritually. Um, what he's saying is that this new system is trying to consolidate the debt, meaning to take control of and minimize and transfer the debt that is eventually going to be a problem and is going to cause the economy to collapse. But they're trying to usher it in into the digital system to cause a less of an impact on the world, because they know it's coming regardless. Okay. And the scriptures actually talk about how this debt, what the Bible calls usury, okay, which, well, is interest. Let me take that back. Usury is interest, okay, but what was the word I was going to use? Let's say extremely high interest causes debt amongst its citizens. Let's put it that way. Okay. And this is how Amalek, who are part of the international banking families, the international banking families are Amalekites, and they know the scriptures and they go against the scriptures consciously, purposely, because they know how to wield, let's put it that way, the tenets of the Bible on the left hand side. Okay, so through wickedness, so they use the scriptures and its wisdom on the left hand side to ultimately enslave and oppress specifically the people of the book, which is you so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, okay, which are true nationality are Israelites, Hebrew Israelites. So when we go to the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, straight to the point, let's go verse 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up, it is lifted up. Salaki, let's start that back. Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him. So whose soul is this talking about? Talking about Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. Okay. Going to book of Obadiah, Salakia. I was thinking of Ibajah, which that's the correct pronunciation. All right. Servant of Yahweh. Okay. But Obadiah prophesies against Edom, okay, in the same understanding, because when your soul's lifted up, it means it's talking about pride, and these devils is very proud. All right. And that pride makes him not upright, meaning he doesn't move righteously. Well, the scriptures say that the wicked are estranged from the womb. They come out forth speaking lies. All right. It says, but the just shall live by his faith. And that's exactly what we have to go into, because the times that we coming into, Jacob's trouble in its climax, when they push this chip, there ain't going to be no other ways to live but by your faith. You see that? Okay. Isaiah 33 and 6, for wisdom and knowledge of what? The scriptures, okay, shall be the stability in thy times. Specific time is Jacob's trouble, that time, okay. What's the name? The strength of his salvation, for the fear of the Lord is his treasure, okay. So the only thing that you're going to be able to treasure, value, especially in that time that we're coming into, is how much fear, healthy fear and reverence you have for Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai. Verse 5, it says, yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, which is your ideologies, your philosophies, and he transgresseth, yeah, he sins, he commits iniquity by the American ideology, the Edomite supremacist Judeo-Christendom ideologies that they push. It says he is a proud man, you see? So this is how that is the same soul that is talking about in verse 4. It says, and remember, a pride goes before a big fall, right? Roughly paraphrasing. It says, neither keepeth at home, because he's everywhere. He's not in America. He's all over the globe, all up in the indigenous peoples and the other kingdoms, lands and all of that, right? Who enlargeth his desire as hell and is as death. And that links up with Revelation 6. Okay, going into the pale horse, talking about Esau, Edom. It says, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. And ultimately, how he's going to do that is about an MOTB, the RFID chip. Okay. It says, verse 6, shall not all these take up a parable against him? All these is talking about these other nations. And a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe unto him, woe means destruction, great mourning, to him that increaseth that which is not his. You see, so there is a lot of wealth that still is in the hands of the people that they're wanting to transfer, all right, unto them. This is why they call the Great Reset the Great Wealth Transfer, because in the transition going into the new digital system, a lot of people that is not financially positioned for what's about to come is going to lose greatly. Okay, this is why it talks about the waves and sea roaring and in people in perplexity in the book of Luke. You go into the Greek word perplexity, it means lack of resources. A lot of people is not going to have no resources because of this great reset that is coming, thinking that things is just going to continue to go on the way they're going. No, okay, there is a new world order, okay, that is being established as we speak. the image of the beast is being finalized, and they're gonna make you worship it. And if you don't, you're gonna be excommunicado. All right, completely cut off from the system. All right, and the ultimate loyalty test of worshiping the image of the beast, which is the same thing, is taking his mark. Okay, verse 6 again, woe unto him that increases that which is not his. So it's not his. He didn't work for it. So what he's doing, he's robbing and spoiling what you didn't worked for. And we're gonna get James 5 because it links up with that. Okay. It says, and to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. And we know in the Hebrew that thick clay is ibatyat in the Hebrew, which means heavy debt. Okay. So he's gathering up all this debt, like they said, they're trying to finance the debt, so to speak. And the global debt is way greater than some 30 something trillion dollars, man. Okay, we're coming into a tokenization environment where everything is going to be quantified on a distributed ledger technology. And by doing so, you're able to bet contracts on these things, which is going to basically create a value of money out of thin air on in the cloud. So we're not right now. We can understand trillion. Remember when we was younger, we understood $1 billion. It was really like in the 90s, it was $1 million. In the 2000s, it was a billion. We in the 2010 or 2010 2020s, it was a $1 trillion. Now we understand it coming into this new digital system. We talking about $250 billion. All right, a thousand trillions. Okay, you can't even fathom this type of buying power, and this is the how would we put it, the goal that Esau Edom, so-called white man and devil that the Bible speaks of, is trying to achieve. So continuing on.
Yeah, I mean, they've lost the ability to, because they've had a number of auctions right now for, their debt. Nobody's showing up. Very few are showing up. So they have to, of course, incentivize them with higher rates, all this kind of stuff. And they can't obviously do that in a big way. So, of course, who's buying, the treasuries right now? Well, of course, it's the central banks. And the other thing is, though, with stable coins, because of the Genius Act, and as we mentioned last week, stablecoins will be required to hold treasuries in order to back themselves. So now they have a kind of like a guaranteed client to buy their debt. And you're absolutely right. We are still on the same downward spiral that we have been on. The whole thing is a dog and pony show.
So even calling it a new financial system is pretty much false, because it's nothing but the same stupid ass corrupt system we have now, just represented on in a new digital universe, so to speak, which they created it, therefore they control it. You see? So, like he said, it's just this dog and pony, like as if we're coming into some new age when it's going to be the same shit, just an increased hedge. You know how what was it? What was it? Was it Lazarus and the rich man? All right, and how there was a hedge between the rich man and, you know what I'm saying, that type of thing. Like they're, in a sense, they're trying to increase that, where the cast is literally the had what's it John Williams used to say, the have yachts and the have nots. You see what I'm saying? There is no middle class. It's either you rich to the point where you can buy, $400 million yachts, that shit looking like a mansion on the water, or you living, like you in Section 8 in the PJs, in the P's, in the projects. You know what I'm saying? Like this is the type of time that we coming into. You'll own nothing and be happy.
It's masking, it's just putting a band-aid over a gaping wound.
Uh-oh, you heard that? So this whole thing is putting a band-aid over a gaping wound. Where do we get the term, a wound? What do you have to do to a wound? You have to heal it, right? But what does the prophecy say, okay, about trying to heal this God-forsaken place? Okay, let's go to the book of Jeremiah, right? Book of Jeremiah. chapter. Yeah, chapter 51 and verse 8. It says, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed, and that's going to happen by the ICBMs. How for her? Take balm for her pain, if so be she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, right? Putting a band-aid over that wound, but she is not healed. So that band-aid ain't going to heal that fucking gaping wound. Forsake her. And that's the type of spirit that we supposed to be in, but the Lord is saying, yeah, that's a spirit. So we supposed to be forsaken Babylon, meaning not being attached to this world, man. All right. It says, and let us go everyone into his own country. Okay, for her judgment reacheth up unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. Right. So we're at the precipice. This is, listen, Babylon is ripe for judgment. So why would we be in a situation to try to build in this place? What is that? Micah 2 and 10. All right, arise ye and depart, for the whole land is polluted. You know what I'm saying? For this is not your rest. You know, roughly paraphrasing.
That is the demise of this current fiat system. And I think it's going to buy them a little bit more time. I do believe that. So I think that, yes, we will see a major collapse in it. Will that?
So right, it's going to buy them some more time. So when they, so this Babylon really supposed to go when the dollar go, but because of the elites and the international banking families, when the shit do collapse, it's going to cause mass chaos, hysteria. They're going to bring about the solution, which is going to be this digital system. I don't think they're going to push the chip immediately at that point yet, but it's going to be. I think the CBDC is going to be that gradualism, that next step first, and then through that, it's going to continue to lead eventually to the chip. You know, and again, I could be wrong. You know, we know in part, we prophesy in part. We'll see how it goes on. Either way, I'm watching and I'm praying.
Be 2 years, 3 years, 5 years down the road? I'm not sure, but I do think definitely the bag holders of these stable coins, when this system totally implodes, and we don't know what the absolute catalyst of that's going to be, but I do think that when it does, the holders, the bag holders are going to be, the ones bearing the brunt of that pain. Now, having said that, I would say right now, from a market standpoint, we are seeing like new all-time highs in the Dow, in the Russell, and all that. And when you think of it, and I've asked people to do this, to look at, where we are with the market on the 100-year chart. I mean, it is really terrifying to think if we see a breakdown, and if it does, ultimately collapse, that collapse is going to be so significant that it'll plunge the world in such an economic chaos that it has never ever seen before. I mean, not even the 1929 Great Depression will compare. And the reason for that is primarily you back at that time, you did not have, your average citizenry carrying a massive amount of debt. Consumer debt is just beyond belief in terms of credit cards, lines of credit, mortgages, car loans, all of that kind of stuff, which of course, relates to, all these industries that support the building of new homes and the creation of new cars, and on and on and on. That cascading effect is going to be beyond devastating. And that's where I believe they will completely flip the switch. We will see a new system where you're going to watch universal basic income, you're going to watch decentralized identities, you're going to watch, all of the network of this new digital economy is going to rise from those ashes. But there's going to be a tremendous amount of pain as we go through that transition. At least that's what I believe will happen.
You see, and that it makes sense when you look at it through a prophetical lens. Okay, they know it's going to make the 1929 depression look like a walk in the park, and we don't even know the catalyst itself is going to make, 9/11, de septiembre, right, look, crazy, like a walk in the park, like it's nothing. You see, And then what they're going to bring about, like they said, he said decentralized identification, basically digital IDs, right? And CBDCs slash stable coins and things of that nature. All right. So, the prophets saw these things. This is Zephaniah chapter 1 and verse 10. It says, "And it shall come to pass in that day, saith Yahweh, that there shall be a noise from a cry from the fish gate, and a howling from the second, and a great crashing from the hills." The fish gate was where people did buying and selling in the ancient world. What's the modern day buying and selling? Your Wall Streets and your marketplaces and things of that nature, right? It says a great crashing from the hills. Hills are smaller mountains. Mountains are symbolic for governments. So because America is the world reserve currency and all nations deal with it and they're trying to get away from it, they're trying to do damage control. They're going to be affected. They're trying to not be affected as much. This is how it's going to be a global thing when this shit goes down, when America goes down. Okay? And this is how else are you going to get to the point to cause it all? Both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, Revelation 13 and 16 on down. Okay? Because everybody have to be in a position in the spirit where it's like, yo, government, save us. And at that time, this is why they're trying to push that one world government, where it's nothing but an oligarch, a couple families, right, of the Edomite stock that is going to be looked at as a savior through their technology. All right, which is nothing. And if you take it, we all know what happens. Revelation chapter 14, verse 9 and 10. Okay, it says, verse 11, "How ye inhabitants of Maktesh, for all the merchant people are cut down, all they that bear silver are cut off." Okay, so a lot of people that getting money in that type of system, and they're gonna be cut off, man. This shit is not going to be you can't calculate the magnitude of what's about to happen economically speaking. Okay, people be like, yeah, the economy is going to crash, but they don't know what that feel like. The closest people got is maybe 2000, 2008. Yeah, a couple foreclosures happened, banks went down, a couple jobs, people got evicted, a couple little things like that, but we talking about all hell breaking loose, blood being shed, man, unaliving, you know hyperinflation. We talking shit that things that we read in the scriptures. You know.
That's my
Yeah.
personal opinion.
No, I totally agree with you.
That's where hard assets like what you support, Versam, are going to make the tremendous difference. I mean, real hard assets, gold, silver, platinum, land, stuff like that.
See, and the real hard asset to the man of the Lord is this truth, this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding through the scriptures via faith in Yahweh Shai. That's our hard asset. Okay, in Hebrews 11 and 1, it says, "Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things unseen." Where's the hard come in? Substance and evidence. So something that is not seen or hoped for seems to be a soft asset, like software. You can't touch software, but you could touch hardware. So a hard asset is something that is tangible. But to the men of the Lord, this truth is tangible. We could feel it on a different wavelength, on a different dimensional vibration, if that even makes sense. Because the scriptures say that s- you know spiritual things is foolish unto the carnal man, for they're spiritually discerned, roughly paraphrasing in the book of Corinthians. You see, so what we doing is invaluable. If people don't, it's not going to see value. There is nothing that has more value than what we have faith in, which is the word, and the word is Yahweh Shai. All right, and they tried to cross him out, but he's in the hearts and the mind of his elect men of Israel. All right. So I'm gonna get one more precept. There was one more precept I wanted to get. Let's see if we can let's get it real quick. Because I could get Revelation 6 going into a meat a penny for a measure of wheat and 3 measures for barley, roughly paraphrasing, going into hyperinflation, that penny being denarius, meaning an ancient Roman soldier's day's wage. Um, but I wanted to go in second address and then we're gonna close it all out. But what is coming is inevitable. There's no way to stop it. All of these people think that it can stop if the people wake up and so on and so forth. Nah, man. The kingdom of heaven is coming quickly, which is the kingdom of Yahweh Shai, which is by default the kingdom of Israel. And the Israelites are not the people in the land right now, them small hats. Okay, it's the people that is at the bottom, the so-called Negro Latino Native American. Okay, Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5. Those that you had in derision, that you make fun of, that is the brunt of every joke. That you have a byword and a proverb, towards us. Okay, these are the same men, okay, women and children, because there are elect ladies and things of that nature, but the primary vessel that the Lord is dealing with is the men, okay, and those are going to be the true witnesses, aka the testimony, okay, of prophesying the downfall of this place. And when they see it, they're going to know that a prophet has been among them. Ezekiel 33 and 3. 33 verse 33. Shalakia. This is the book of Second Esdras, chapter. I'm gonna start at chapter 15, verse 12. I'm gonna start there. It says, Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it. What was the foundation of Egypt? What was Egypt founded upon? Slavery, bondage. You see? Slavery and bondage. So the Most High is going to smite this slavery, but honestly, when he judges this place, but this is going to be a part of it, this economic collapse. Verse 13, they that till the ground shall mourn, for their seed shall fail through the blasting and hail with a fearful consolation. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. Okay, let me jump down to verse 19 and close out on that. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. So when this collapse happened, all right, it's going to cause a supply chain shock. It's going to cause famine of bread, okay? And people is going to be running up in your crib, kicking in the door, waving the 4-4. All you're going to hear is, Poppy, don't hit me no more. that's what you're going to be hearing, man. You know what I'm saying? And destroying the houses, the scriptures say, with guns, because the modern day sword is the gun, man. Gonna be going crazy because people not gonna be able to eat, and that's what they want. Order of chaos. So when the chaos ensues, they'll come with the order. All right, and however that might come, stable coins, CBDC, digital dollar, UBI, universal basic income, and eventually the mark of the beast, which is the RFID chip. Okay, so Lord willing, I was edifying to the elect. On to the next one. Shalom.